I want to start this video off by saying thank you to everyone, to be honest. I honestly didn't think I would actually get this far in this community, but thank you to everyone who has stuck by me and encouraged me to keep being myself and all of that. And it's now accumulated to where I can now say thank you for helping me reach a milestone I never thought I would accomplish. I never thought I would actually get this far in anything, which just goes to show my lack of self-confidence. But honestly, thank you. I don't know how many more times I can say it. I have lived my life in a lot of self-doubt and anxiousness, and ever since I joined this community, all I've been given are people who really want to see me be the best I can be, and thank you. And saying that, I had originally had this plan of doing just a fun little Q&A with some of the comments that I've asked, but one comment really stuck out to me, and one where I haven't gotten much time to ever really explain, which was, what got you into the furry fandom? It was honestly a question I sat on for a good while, figuring out actually what was the reason I got into the furry fandom. And so for this video, I kind of want to give my piece, my side, and a bit of telling you who I am, just to better understand who I am. To be honest, I've always been interested in anthropomorphic animals for pretty much my whole life. I grew up with a lot of shows and movies depicting a lot of those types of characters, and I've always had a fascination with them, like Pokemon, Disney, Warner Brothers had a lot of stuff, and it's always stuck with me. But I feel like the movie that really kind of cemented me and got me interested into looking into those types of characters, to be honest, was Zootopia of all movies. It is a film that I love and respect ever since it originally came out, and I'm glad so many people in this community share that sentiment with me. And it's because of this film that I really took a deeper dive and look into the fandom. I saw so much artwork and original characters, seeing the suits and everything. It was just such a trip that I was so blown away by. And seeing how open-minded and freeing it looked, I was very interested. However, I didn't really participate for a long time. I just felt like maybe I wasn't deserving of something like that. This was at a time in my life where I felt very self-defeating, and I just felt like I didn't deserve that type of love and respect and open-mindedness. But that didn't stop me from lurking around and admiring it from the background. But that's when I discovered this really fun little site called Archives of Our Own, which, for those who don't know, is a site mainly dedicated to writing, and for the most part is a site based for fan fiction on pretty much any media that you can even possibly think of. It was there when I realized that, oh, it's not just Zootopia, it's every piece of media that I love and respect and care for and find interest in. And it was so mind-boggling, that and eye-opening, that so many people had the same interest in these shows and movies as I did. And it was this breathtaking experience seeing how creative people could be with these alternate universes, these different takes on characters that I love so much. It was like this overflowing chalice of creativity and imagination, and it tasted so refreshing and amazing, and I loved it so much that even I wanted to participate. I saw myself diving into these and wanting to create my own world or my own take on these characters that I love so much. but that self-doubt was still lurking. I mean, I never really wrote in my life, and I never really thought to myself that these people were just like me, experimenting and getting used to writing in their own style. I just couldn't find it in myself to push that boundary for some time. It was at a certain point in my life where I took interest into this one thing, which it was a rating of story that I was probably a little too young to get into. Let's just say it was something a bit more mature, and that's when I really got into it, more so than I would like to admit. And I think at that point, that's when I was like, go for it, or at least attempt. And I did. When I first wrote my first stories, I was anxious as hell. Just to give an example, the first 2 to 3 stories I wrote on FA, it took me about 10 minutes for me to finally click the submit button. I was that panicked. And I don't even know now internally what was the reason. I think I was just nervous about what I was getting myself into. But honestly, now, today, I can't be more appreciative that I was confident enough to push that button. Because if it wasn't for that, if it wasn't because I dipped my toes in the water, I don't know where I would be at today. Truthfully, I don't know. Because without me pushing myself into that, I wouldn't have made so many friends. I wouldn't have met so many interesting and creative people. And most importantly, I wouldn't have the opportunities that I would have today, where I get to have now this open world of creative freedom that I have, where I get to expound and talk about whatever practically the hell I want to talk about at this point. It's so eye-opening and so freeing. And not to keep repeatedly thanking everyone, but I want to say one last time, thank you for all the confidence and all of the strong emotions that I am now giving myself to push myself in places that I never would have imagined. It truly means the world to me that I now have this interesting opportunity to make a financial benefit off of talking about weird, degenerate, furry stuff. It's honestly so incredible. But yeah, I think that's sort of a brief explanation on how I got into this community, where I found myself, and what I was thinking at the time. I'll probably go into a more detailed description or a more detailed story, if I will say, down the line. But as of right now, that's it. That's it for right now. Yeah, wow. It truly has been a wild ride, and I'm ready to keep going. And I hope the person who asked me this question is satisfied with their answer. But for now, I think I will answer the rest of these questions. So let's get started. What is your favorite movie? If we're saying of all time, I would honestly say Prince of Egypt. I think it is a very, very great movie. I love the music, the story, the characters. I just love the entire thing and everything about that movie. But if we're going more of a furry angle, I would probably say The Secret of Nim. But that's mainly because I'm just a big Don Bluth fan. But honestly, just like Prince of Egypt, I just really like the characters and how a bit more darker of a story it is. I just really like that. I just find it pretty fun. Who was your first ever furry crush? Like I said, when I was younger, I found myself very interested in anthropomorphic characters. But I would say the first time I ever felt myself interested was honestly the Disney movie Robin Hood with Maid Marian. I feel like because of how she was, her kindness, and everything about her, honestly, kind of drove me into questioning why I felt so intrigued by this character. And now that I know who I am, I can now safely assume why I like that character so much. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream? See, this is tough because if we're going by like the tub of ice cream, butter pecan. I am a massive butter pecan man. I honestly could never pass on the opportunity to have something like that. If I ever go to like an ice cream parlor, I'm sticking to my guns. I have to go with that butter pecan. However, if I'm at like a ice cream truck, if I'm in like an ice cream truck, I have to go with that orange creamsicle. Those things are dangerous because of how good they are. I can never, want in my life, ever pass up on an orange creamsicle. Those things are amazing. What is your future plans for YouTube, and what made you want to go into YouTube? I honestly don't know what my plans with YouTube are at this point. To be honest, like I said at the beginning, I was just kind of shocked that I even got this far. But now that I have this opportunity, I'm just going to do whatever I want. Just have my fun with it, honestly. And hopefully garner an audience that follows me along with my weird degenerate talks. And what got me into YouTube was mainly it was just a different source of media that I could portray a better sense of myself. Whereas instead of writing about why I like this character, I can now just talk about why I like this character so much. But I do want to say, in terms of plans, probably after a certain point, I was considering streaming. If anyone is interested in that, let me know. If anyone is interested in me attempting to stream something, I have no idea what yet, but who knows. I'm just going with the flow with this, to be honest. Why do you like farts and other stinky stuff? To be honest, once I started getting into the more, albeit explicit side of fan fictions and writing, I sort of went at a lot of stuff with an open mind, and that open-mindedness sort of led to me finding out a bunch of stuff that I now find very interesting and intriguing, and that just happened to be one of them. I can't really tell you which work was the starting point, but whatever it was, it must have been so good that it devolved into me being more into it. How did you come up with your persona? Lemon was a very interesting case, mainly because he was the first time I ever thought of making an original character. For any previous fans of mine, you would know that my old profile was just an adoptable, which was a Lucario and Houndoom mixed together that I found very fun. Lemon was this very concept of who do I want to see myself as? And Lemon is just this very laid back, chill guy who doesn't think he has any worries in the world, doesn't have any problems, and to me, that is someone who I can envision seeing myself wanting to become in the future. Someone who doesn't care about any problems or worries and is just trying to live day by day, and hopefully in a time of my life that happens. Are you planning to make a special video when you hit 100,000 subscribers? I would be very surprised if a channel like mine would reach a milestone that massive. Don't get me wrong, I would be very appreciative of something that massive. I don't know what type of video I would make for reaching something like that. It would most likely be something like what I'm doing now, where it's more just interaction with all you guys, and also just a massive thank you again for everything. But that once I get to that point, I'll probably think of something big and monumental to celebrate. But until then, I'm just appreciating what I have now. If Open Season Call of Nature had a second season, do you think they'll maybe make episodes of Giselle farting? Honestly, I hope that Call of Nature just gets a second season in general. I really appreciate the show. I really like the show. It's the show that mainly got me where I am right now, but I just like the show in general. And I know they kind of left it talking about being on a cliffhanger, and so I really hope that it gets greenlit for another season, because I would be very happy about that. Any more shows you plan to collect fart scenes from? I don't know exactly. It's kind of a spur of the moment thing, when I'm probably going to pick a movie or a show that I'm just going to sort of introduce these scenes. But now that I kind of want to put myself out more, I think I would probably have more fun talking, discussing, and explaining why I like this scene so much rather than just putting it out there. So you're probably going to see more of that. What's your favorite cartoon fart scene of all time? I would probably, at the top of my head, since I have a lot of scenes that I like, I would probably have to go with Meg the Skunk from Chicken Hair. I plan on talking about it in a later depth, but the first scene involving her, that is some top tier stuff that I can't wait to dive into and tell you why I like it so much. And that seemed to have been the final question. So thank you all so much for submitting these to me. I hope my answers were suffice, and I can't wait to answer more down the line. So thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content down the line. I can't wait to fully commit myself into this and see what happens. Thank you all so much again for everything, and have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.